Hi, you guys. This is Richard Sachs. You might remember me from 3 weeks ago before we got our little timeout from YouTube to correct us for our own good and for your protection, because we're getting really too unacceptable in what we're talking about. And we're trying to reform this separate show for YouTube. It's a safe space version, and that was inspired by the idea of the safe spaces that were in operation at various universities for students that got traumatized from seeing, hateful things like a sign to vote for Trump, or that Caitlin Bennett, who was walking around and she actually was supporting the Second Amendment, which is obviously unacceptable. And, so they made safe spaces at some of those universities where the students could come in after they managed to stand up again from the shock of whatever triggered them, and they could go and recover in a supportive environment with safe space tools like special crayons and stuffed animals and Play-Doh and things that could never threaten anybody and would always be considered friendly. So I have to figure out, before I say that, we did realize that we have to start this special time and separate space to broadcast this show. Hopefully we'll be able to keep doing it unless that's found unacceptable again, in which case we may get thrown out. But the regular unacceptable show is still, if you don't want to be traumatized by it, the links below the video show how to avoid it. So that you can just stay on this limited safe show that's supposed to, it's going to have to be kind of short, because we have to get ready for the regular show after this, which takes, a 10-minute break or so. So we'll watch the time on that. And I have to get used to the idea of what I can say on a show, because most of what's going on in the world would violate the terms of service if you told the truth about it. So we can't talk about most of what's going on in current events on this safe stream, safe space version. So let's see if we can't talk about what's going on in the world, because I'm not going to lie about it. I was thinking of doing sort of a, kind of like a sarcastic approach. And I thought, I don't really want to do that. I could do it and we could get good at it and it would be somewhat humorous, but sarcasm is really saying things that aren't true, and I don't like to do that. I don't really want the idea of doing that. So I guess the thing is, all right, what else could I share? And I think it's pretty safe to tell you the main message of Lost Arts Radio, and that's that you're a totally incredible being, and not what we're taught to believe about ourselves, that we can't do anything, and whatever we try to do to help the world is insignificant and all that. I would say that the truth about that is that you're a totally incredible, amazing person. And I'm talking to you specifically, not just everybody who's listening. And I would say not just incredible, but strong and compassionate and caring and super intelligent, creative, wise, brilliant, all the usual terms of admiration, because they're actually true. And once we throw off the hypnosis, we find that is true. And I don't mean in a way to suggest anybody being arrogant or thinking you're better than everybody else. That's not the wise being I'm talking about, because the wise person knows that everybody has the same incredible, beautiful qualities. Even the people who have sold out to evil, that's programming on the surface, and it may be really deep in some cases, making them dangerous in their current consciousness. But underneath that, the reality can't be killed. Sorry to disappoint the people working for the dark side, but it's just the truth. You can't kill reality. So you might ask the question, if everybody's real nature is like that and beyond description and incredible, why are millions of people running around like hypnotized zombies instead of the beautiful, brilliant people that they really are? And as I talk, I'm only looking down because our time on this show is going to be really short, 20 minutes or so. And I have a list of things that I wanted to see if there's a way to share with you. But that question of why people are running around being crazy now and doing all these things that our rulers have programmed us to do, I'd say it's all a result of very sophisticated, advanced mind programming. And you've heard of TIs, or individuals that feel that they're targeted with some kind of frequency weapon or something like that, gang stalking, that sort of thing. But the reality is that that's not just a few people. It's pretty much everybody. And there's some that are singled out as targets of special importance, but it's affecting all of us, and it's not happening by accident. We're being given a message every day that we're not smart enough to figure out things by ourselves, and we need experts to tell us what to think, what to be afraid of, who to admire, who to hate, how to work and play, what to eat and drink, what to believe. We're not supposed to know that real common sense, we're not supposed to be in touch with that real wisdom, love, respect for ourselves and all life, and the intuitive knowing of how to live in harmony with each other. All those things are still inside us, and they're just covered up with these mind control programs that basically are targeting everybody right now. Even the rulers who think that they're above it, they're mistaken about that. They're actually the most targeted individuals of everybody, because the rulers can't afford for those guys to figure out what's going on. So they're totally brainwashed, and they're buried under deep conditioning, being fed to all of us all the time, but more in their case. And the idea is to keep us weak and sick and helpless and easy to control, so the world controllers can keep us prisoners in our own fears and self-doubt until they can finish their program of destroying life on Earth, which is what their program is about. And I think it's safe, we'll find out, but I think it's safe to say that in general, it's just certain key terms and ideas that I can't say on this show. And remember, the ones that are not safe, that I haven't cleaned up and hopefully won't have to anytime in the future, are in the links below this particular short video. But what the biggest fear of the controllers is that they know that even a small minority of us, if we wake up in time to who we really are, that instead of destruction, then we can spread the reality of beauty, joy, and freedom, and prosperity, and lifelong good health and energy, all the things that are just our normal state, that don't need any special projects on our side to create, because they're already created, they're already existing in you. So if you want that, you just have to stop blocking it. You don't have to build it out of anything. It's just normal. So the only reason that we talk about the bad things going on in the world on any of the Lost Arts radio shows, and the people who are intentionally working for darkness, is not to feel bad or be depressed or scared or upset or anything like that. It's just to say, okay, here's the situation we're facing. The whole world is targeted with programmed insanity, and most of it has fallen for it. Here's the situation we're facing. Here's how it works. Here's what we have to do to fix and heal, to get things back to normal. It's like a chess puzzle where here are the pieces. You have 3 moves. How do you win the game? Win the game is, instead of seeing the world, life in the world destroyed, see it brought back to its real, forgotten, normal state. And whatever strategies we come up with to accomplish that, the chance of success is directly connected to what we're willing to fix each one of us inside ourselves. It's not going out and trying to make everybody else change. It's that they're being affected very strongly by you right now. And that if you really want them to change in a way that they're not going to just resist, you do that by changing yourself. And that's one of the biggest forgotten truths that is being hidden from everybody right now. The top rulers of the world know all about this, not the ones you can see, but the real ones in control. And that's why it's so important to them to keep us sick and weak and full of self-doubt and afraid all the time and hating each other and hating ourselves. So they're telling us the secret, if we want to heal and succeed, do the opposite. In other words, the rulers, even though they're lying to everybody to try to keep us controlled, are really giving us guidance. Here's what we're telling you. So learn about the opposite and you can heal yourself. Even now, I'm really convinced that it's not too late to do that. So as a place to start, real health information in the US and most of the world now is violently suppressed. I'm not going to get into detail of that on this show, but you hopefully know about that. So that means get your health back, learn about how to not need toxic intervention of the usual allopathic medical kind, and learn how to take care of yourself. And in spite of what we're being fed on TV, don't hate anybody. And one of the benefits of not hating anybody is that you won't have to hate yourself, subliminally maybe, but those always go together. And realize instead that we've all been sick and misled and made a lot of mistakes and kept in a state of fear all the time. It's nobody's fault. It's really nobody's fault. And health and high energy and health on all levels are a normal condition. And fear's never been useful or necessary for anything ever in all of history or any other time. It has no useful purpose. You're as smart as any expert on the planet that wants, and actually much smarter if you drop the ego nonsense and just forget about arrogance. It's stupid and just holds you back. And if you remember how to learn, because schools don't have a patent on learning, you can do that anytime you want. Hold on to common sense and respect for each other at the same time, then get the self-healing skills back on all levels: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. They're all lost arts, but they didn't really go away. They didn't get lost in the permanent sense. They just got forgotten. And we forgot how to use them. They're still there. They've always been there. They're just like new. They work as well as always, powerful and renewing and life transforming. And that's really the point of Lost Arts Radio. I think I'm safe to say that. To get those abilities back, some wisdom to use them well. And wisdom and arrogance never go together. You know that everything's being done by God, and we're just fortunate to have the opportunity to let that flow through us. So no matter what position in the world that you may be in, that's open to you and free. So even if you're working for the dark side and you're just figuring out that that's what you're doing, or you consciously sold out to it a long time ago, that's optional. None of the contracts with the dark side are valid because you didn't get full disclosure of what would be the result of signing that. So don't worry about it. And some famous personalities in the entertainment world have said, well, we agreed with the dark side to get our success in entertainment, so we have no choice now. We're just lost to that. And that's never true. That's part of the complete deception, that those contracts are all void. All you have to do is claim it. And the way to do that is start working on yourself and decide what you want to be aligned with. And it gives you nothing to be arrogant about at all, because left to our own devices, we've already seen what most of us would do, making mistakes in everything. But you can get connected to what's inside you, which is not a belief. It's not doesn't belong to any particular belief system or anything. It's real. It's what started the whole thing before mind or form or light or energy even existed. And it's as real as it was then. So I'm not talking about a secret password or special card that says you have the right belief system. I'm talking about way beyond that, something that's actually there. It's our essence, and you can get it back. And I think I'm safe to say that on the Safe Space show here. For any other details about what's going on in the outside world, just in case you're curious about that or want to interact about it or anything, you can see the links down below this video, and you can always go to lostartsradio.com/live. And also, if you want to get deeper into it, to planetaryhealingclub.com, and you'd be welcome there as well if you want to get more into the actual work that it implies. You can support us at the donate buttons on our sites, lostartradio.com or subscribestar.com/lostartsradio. You can work with me privately occasionally. I have time for that. So email if you're interested. But regardless of any of that stuff, the key thing is to start work on yourself now. It's just simply, the deepest things are really simple. Assess where you are. How are you spending your time every day? What are you doing moment to moment in your daily life? Are you taking care of your physical body? Because that's kind of important, if you want to operate in the physical world. Learn how to do that. It is a newsflash. It's not, when it gets run down, it's not a deficiency of toxic chemicals, even though they're called medicine. There are stronger things that have, real medicine has no negative effects. They call them side effects, but they're really primary effects, and real medicine has no negative effects at all. Learn about it. Take care of your body. Watch your mind patterns. What mantras are you repeating subliminally all day? They're affecting everything in your world. Work on yourself. Transform yourself, especially if you want to help anybody else. And details of what we're dealing with in more specific patterns and details to look at. The places where those are seen are in the links below. Otherwise, we'll try to come back here and do the safe version every week as much as we can. Don't want to lose touch with you. And in case we disappear here, which could always happen, or on any other major platform, go to lostartsradio.com/live and we can stay in touch. So nice to see you again. Sorry we were gone for a while. Not intentional. And have a great week. We're going to get ready for the non-safe show in a few minutes here. And Planetary Healing Club after that. Sunday show tomorrow night with Gabriel Cousins. Or not Dr. Cousins. What do we got tomorrow night? It's going to be... it's going to be Joel Skousen. Changed at the last minute, and we just found out about that very recently. And Joel's been on the show many times. He's a friend of ours, and he's going to be talking about some really relevant topics, but probably not in the safe category. So if you want to stay safe in the safe stream, stay on this show, and we'll be back here next week. Otherwise, I'll see you on the other platforms that we just mentioned. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.